So, over this weekend, Barbie made her debut in theaters, starring Robbie and Ryan Gosling. And honestly, you know, it definitely is achieving what a lot of people hoped it would achieve, and that is making a lot of money and basically, being at the top of the box office. However, even though it is also getting some positive reviews, it also has a lot of mixed reviews. As a matter of fact, I think it's got more mixed reviews than it does positive, at times. It's kind of like, I'll put it this way. It's kind of, it's not 50-50. It's kind of like 45-55, or however you want to look at it. Something like that. And the 55, of course, is, in the favor of the mixed reactions, because some people will come out and say that the movie's good, but it also has its problems, and its main problems is that, along with the good, that good gets outshined by the message that it's sending, the very feminist, woke SJW message. And that's kind of a bit of a detractor to a lot of folks. Like, they find everything else funny. Like, everything else is good, but it's the other stuff about it. And, when I hear this, I hear, when I hear this, what I hear in my mind is people saying that, right now it's good and it's going to make money, but that over time, the mixed reaction is going to become more mixed and eventually more negative, and it's going to cause the success that the Barbie movie's seeing right now to drop. It really is. And, honestly, I don't blame them for thinking that, because, they might, again, they have mixed reactions to, because, again, the mixed reactions are, it's good, but what's weighing it down is its feminist, woke SJW message. And, and also it's degrading of men, like men are beneath women and stuff like that. And, that's basically going to be the detraction over time from what people are saying that have seen it, that have said, yeah, it's good in it, but what's holding it back, it's, everything I've mentioned. A lot of people feel that that's going to cause it to go downhill very quickly. Like, it's still going to make money to add on to its 155 million plus, box office opening that it's got. But along with adding money to that, it's going to drop, substantially, in the rankings. It's going to go from being number one to probably within a week number three or four, if not number two. And even though being in the top five is still a good thing, it's not a good sign, because now people are starting to, that haven't seen the movie, that are hearing this and thinking, oh, you're just looking too much into it. Those people may come out and say, start saying the same stuff, and that's, it's going to cause a bit of a, it's going to cause a bit of a dissatisfaction, to where if they say the same stuff, like, yeah, it's good, but hey, what our friends said, our colleagues said about it, about all these messages that are holding it back, being part of it, that's going to cause anybody else to be a little like, I'm not too sure, and may cause them to wait till it comes out on VOD in the next couple of months or something like that. So yeah, it's it's not much of a good sign when, even though from a positive standpoint you're making a lot of money and you're number one at the box office, basically edging out the other biggest movie of the year, that being Super Mario Brothers. It's not a good sign if all of a sudden you're getting, along with your positive reactions and all that, you're getting those mixed reactions, which part of them are positive, 45% of them are positive, but the other 55% are mixed, because of the fact of, yeah, it's good, but there's this stuff that's holding it back. These messages of feminism and superiority over men, and wokeness and SJW-ness, and that's that's not good, obviously, for any movie that people are looking forward to, based on an iconic franchise like Barbie, which has been around since the 1950s. Another telltale sign, according to a lot of folks, is Mattel themselves, the people that distribute the Barbie dolls, the Barbie toys and dolls, if you will. Apparently Mattel, you know, they're not. I guess you could say they're not too thrilled, about what's going on. Like, they're happy, Barbie, the movie's raking in money, and by association, the dolls associated with Barbie, the original dolls and the movie-based dolls are gonna rake them in money and all that. But even though they're happy about that, there's still a part of them that's kind of concerned. Like, they look at the mixed reaction that it's getting more so than the positive, and despite the money they're raking in, it's making them, according to reports, making them kind of question, what did we get ourselves into here? Like, why did we let this woman who's been known to put out some great films? Why did we let her do this to the face of our company, basically? Why did we let her do this? And that may cause them to, later on say, okay, if we do a sequel, we're just going to do a sequel that reboots everything. And they could do that. They could just reboot everything in a follow-up film and say, oh, the Barbie that did what she did at the end, and I'll get into that moment. There will be spoilers. I will put that here to let you know, because apparently you can't go online without people coming out and reviewing it and adding spoilers to the reviews. So you can't go anywhere and read up about what people thought about it without them spoiling it, especially the ending. So I'm gonna let you guys know about that. But basically, what was I saying? But basically, they could want to have the follow-up film be a reboot, and basically, kind of have it done in a way to it's like, oh yeah, the Barbie, at the Barbie that did what she did at the end of the film, she was just another one of those cases of a Barbie that got confused, and we can't have that happen here with this film. We gotta reset things with the second film, and they could do that. There are movies that have done that. Historically, there are movies that have done that. Well, they will use the follow-up film, the sequel, to reset things, to reboot things, and make them into what they believe they should be. And that could happen here. That's what Mattel could probably order. Is, hey, reset this film, make it to what it's supposed to be, or not reset the film, but reset this universe with this sequel and make it as it should be. Don't make it into something that's sending a message of feminineness and SJW wokeness and all that. No, 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 no. You set this in the world of Barbie, and you keep it in the world of Barbie. I mean, if you really think about it, this is why we've been getting tons and tons of direct-to-video animated Barbie movies for years. If not over a decade, because of the fact that it's set in the world of Barbie, and Mattel is happy about that because it doesn't change Barbie and who she is. This does, because, okay, we're going to get into the spoilers right now. So if you don't want to know about spoilers, I'm going to realize that what I'm about to say is very spoilery, according to the reviews I've read, because I put it out there. So I'm going to let you know about this right now. So I'm going to give you time. But what I'm about to tell you, deals with the ending of this film. And again, you can't go into a review online, read about it without somebody spoiling it for you. So I'm about to tell you what happens at the end here, which is why I also believe Mattel's going to probably, if we get a sequel, Mattel's going to say, okay, reset with the sequel. So, gonna let you know about this in 5. You got time. I'm giving you guys time. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. And again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the spoiler. So, at the end of this film, again, I'm not going to give much away, but at the end of this film, Barbie decides to stay, go back and stay in the real world. And she gets adopted by the creator of Barbie in this movie, Ruth Handler, and she changes her name to Barbara Handler. And that's kind of how the movie ends. She basically, decides to be human, start a life of her own, be the adoptive daughter, I guess you could say, of the creator of Barbie, and rename herself Barbara Handel. Now, you might ask, well, what about Ken in this film? Well, apparently, Ken, who believes he always should be with Barbie, should have a Barbie by his side because that's how it's always meant to be, does get, what he wants. He gets Barbie, but it's a brunette Barbie, but it's the same actress. Margaret Robbie, who plays the, as they, and Wikipedia puts this in there as part of the cast names. Margaret Robbie's initial character in this movie, is dubbed the stereotypical Barbie. The Barbie she portrays at the end, the brunette, doesn't have a name, but obviously she's the brunette Barbie. So this here is where I believe this, again, along with the tones, the message that's giving this movie a mixed reaction, and obviously might do the same as the weeks go on. Base and would cause Mattel to call for a reset with a follow-up film or a complete reboot film, period. If it's not for that, message, the feminineness, the superiority of men, the woke and SJW-ness being, put in the film, it's also this ending where basically the stereotypical Barbie, the main Barbie, decides to be human, and she gets replaced by this brunette Barbie. So in other words, the message is Barbie is replaceable. You can replace Barbie with any other Barbie and nothing would change. Nothing would change. Everything would stay the same or something like that. And that to me, even though that does play into what Mattel does sell, because you got all these variety of Barbies that get released year after year after year under all these different occupations, all these different hairstyles, especially, during the holidays, you got holiday Barbie and all that. To me, though, this ending is what's really going to, in my opinion, along with the message that got sent, is going to basically push Mattel and its execs, in the toy portion of Mattel, to say, do another movie, reset the movie, for the sequel, basically reset things in the sequel, do something that puts things back to the status quo. That's what I think is going to happen, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. I could be absolutely wrong about that, but I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. I think it's going to happen to where they're going to want the movie, basically to, not the movie, but the sequel, or the next Barbie movie, if they do one, to basically reset things, or get things back to the status quo. Do a story, basically, to where, either they ignore the events of the first film, or they do touch upon them, and like I said, mention that the Barbie that went to the real world is just one of those other typical Barbies that got confused and didn't know her place. Or they do a story to where the Barbie that went into the real world starts missing her life as Barbie and wants to go back, and then that's how they reset things to the status quo. So, to me, I think that probably will be the direction they go in. If they do a sequel, or a sequel follow-up film, they'll find a way to reset the status quo, or they'll just reboot the entire thing completely and say, let's start from scratch and not go in that direction that we did with the original one. But yeah, this movie, even though it's opening big, it's getting a lot of mixed reactions, and right now, from what a lot of people are saying, it's definitely heading for a trajectory of, it'll make money, make more money, but it's going to head for a downslide because of the messages being put into it. But what do you think? Let me get your thoughts down below, and I will talk to y'all later.